I was in Boston once. I was there where my husband had a conference and we were, let's go to a gay bar, and we were at a gay bar,
Yeah.
and some very drunken man who was, I think, who was older than me. He was just like, he was like, I love your RuPaul shirt. And I was like, how dare you?
Very
No
dare
disrespect.
you.
Yeah, and I was just like, and I was like, it's Grace Jones. And they're like, oh, Grace Jones. I was like, you don't know who Grace Jones is. Get, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Just
Yeah.
go away.
Yeah. No
Yes.
time. No
No
time
time.
for that.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. This show is so beautiful. It is such a beautiful um comedy. I feel like I don't know, it gives me hope in a way. I have been, I think, I think I've been a 60-year-old man since I was 15. And it's just I don't know, the chemistry the three of you, well, the four of you have is just so unbelievable. And I have to say, for you specifically, there's such a comfort with you on screen because I, I know that you understand like the comedic rhythms of landing a punchline, of you do such a wonderful job of punctuating a joke with not just your lines but physicality. I'm a big like voice and speech nerd when it comes to acting, and it's just that seeing you on screen is just delicious. So that's a long way of me saying like thank you for taking the time to talk to me and how much I love the show.
Uh,
Um
that's very kind of you, Joey. I really appreciate those kind words. It means a lot.
yeah, of course. Um I did want to ask because I was rewatching some of the episodes. I think it was episode 2 when Matt's character is really excited about um Donny Osmond
Yes, at the casino.
and at the casino. And then we hear Nathan's character talking about how Mr. Clean was a sort of root for him. I think that's a sort of unspoken thing that a lot of queer people talk about, like the root of realizing things. But I feel like we didn't get to hear who Arthur's was. And I guess I wanted to know whose his was, do you think, for him?
Well, there was an actual line there, um,
Did I just
but
miss it? What am I?
no, no, no. It was cut for
Okay.
purposes of streamlining the fact that I didn't want to go to the casino.
Okay.
So it does work, but there was an actual line there that
Okay.
landed really well in the space. And so that's one of those learning curve moments for me in doing a multicam. Just because the
Hmm.
line works doesn't mean it's going to be kept,
Right.
So do know that there was, who Arthur's penchant was. Um,
Hmm.
and it was, I forget his name. He's from the Mod Squad with the afro.
Oh my God. What is his name?
It just
Look it up.
escaped me. But,
Me too. I know
yeah,
exactly who you're talking about, though.
yes. So the line went something, and mine was big, big teeth, big afro, and I wanted to know what else was big. So it went something like that. Um,
That's funny.
and I love, love, love him. Um, and so it was there. And, you know,
Okay.
we're going to do a whole thing of stuff that was cut, but it was cut specifically to streamline the fact that I wasn't going to go to the casino. And
Hmm.
then, so it's sort of a long joke that ends with a punchline in the kitchen with Sybil, you know,
Ah. Okay.
about Donny Osmond's eyebrows and, the only thing
Oh
black,
yeah.
and, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So that's why that happened. So that was very astute of you to notice, but um, the overarching theme there was for that joke to happen in the kitchen.
Okay. That's sort of, I think it's really fascinating how you realize, especially with comedies and sitcoms and multicam shows, that like you can have the greatest writing, greatest rehearsal. Once you get it up on its feet and stuff goes super, super fast, and you have to sort of like roll with the punches to make it like the best tight episode you can, which is really cool.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
okay. I'm I read, I think somewhere, or I saw in an interview, and forgive me if this isn't the exact quote, but I heard you say something along the lines of playing Arthur felt like playing like a closer version to yourself. And like it's a character that you felt like that you could really easily relate to. And I guess I wanted to know what that was like for you as a performer, because this dialogue and these episodes, they're so richly written. And I guess I wanted to know, maybe from you, what it was like to sort of just chow down on this material.
Well, I don't know if I said those exact things,
Right.
but I'd love to expound upon it.
Sure, please do.
Uh, Arthur is so fun to play because he's a fully actualized human being. And I was
Hmm.
just so excited to play someone without shame. You
Mm.
know, what a novel idea to play someone without shame who doesn't get killed in the first 15 minutes from something tragic. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people don't go through tragedy. We all do all the time. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of us who go through the tragedy but are still around to talk about it and
Hmm.
are and have a and have friends and community to share these things with. And so it's nice to be a part of a community, a chosen family that can share.
Yeah.
And that part about Arthur, I really get because I've been very fortunate and very lucky to have that myself.
Mm.
Um, you know, so in that way, Arthur, we are. I'm like Arthur in a lot of ways, in that kind of way. Also, being a professional and really being passionate about my job and passionate about what I do. These are the things that I can relate to with playing Arthur. Arthur
Yeah.
cares a little too much about what other people look like and what they should be doing. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Um, I just want you to be happy in whatever capacity that you need to be happy. And
Hmm.
Arthur has a lot more sex than I've ever had. So maybe I'd like to discover what that's about. Do some homework, if you
Yeah.
will.
Some studying. Let's
Yeah,
do
some
some thorough
research.
research. Oh my gosh. I think we all could use a little more research, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
some
I
a
mean,
research.
research.
Heavy on the search.
Okay.
Um, so yes, so that's sort of how I relate to Arthur in that kind of way, and
Mm.
it's such a pleasure to play him. It's also interesting to play a character that walks a very thin line of being, uh, you know, um, mean spirited. I like to say he's joyfully irritated, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means he actually cares about the people that he's reading. So
Mm.
I'm gonna read you, but I'm gonna read you because I love you,
I love that. I
and
mean,
that's
yeah,
different.
that's like a fundamental thing that I think some people don't understand. Like, I don't know, I think I have people over every Friday with our little forgive the phrase. I say it's the same people every week. I call it our little faggle.
Yes,
And I'm just like, I was just thinking about this just yesterday, that I was just like, I make fun of you to your face, in your eye, because I love you. And I think maybe people who are outside of maybe a queer spectrum or the community, they sort of understand it, but not really fully. And sometimes when people outside our bubble kind of witness it, they sort of don't understand. And um that sort of doesn't matter, because I understand, and the person I'm bitching at or making fun of, they understand. So
exactly. I mean, listen, I'm not an avatar, but I enjoyed the film.
yeah, I love that. I'm gonna steal that. Okay. Okay. um that kind of goes along with, you have this really great moment with Bradley Gibson when you're at the
Yes,
bar. What, I just watched it again last night, and there's something about that scene that I really appreciated upon a rewatch, where you are telling him about your experience, but both of you are listening. And I think that is very important for both of the characters. And there's such a respectful sweetness between the two of you that I think is much more rewarding every time that I see it. And I guess I wanted to ask you what that was like, just because you're in a crowded bar, but it sort of feels like it's just the two of you there. And I just wanted to see what that was like for you.
Well, first of all, the great James Burrows makes that
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Mm,
He makes those moments possible. He's such a wonderful director.
yeah.
He makes them possible. And then beyond that, of course, is the writing itself. And so what Bradley and I must do is
Mm,
for show up and be in the space that's been given to us
okay.
and listen to each other with the words that have been given to us and make them our own. And it helps so tremendously when you want the other actor to do well. Um, and I always want every scene partner to do well
Mm,
because it relaxes me to want that for them, and it makes me better.
yeah.
Because it means that I'm present when I'm actively trying to be there for you,
Yeah.
technically as well as kinesthetically.
Mhm.
So I really enjoy doing those scenes with Bradley, and I also really love the generational aspect
Mhm.
of it all because we really do have history. We really do pass it on, and
Yeah.
uh, it's so joyful to just to see yourself in someone else,
Mm.
um, see yourself reflected in someone else in such a positive way.
Yeah.
So it was layer on top of layer for me. So Arthur was seeing Jordan, but Nathan was also seeing Bradley, and
Mm.
that's just something that we'll always have, right? If we never do it again, we have
Mm.
that, and that's very special to me.
That's very beautiful. Yeah, there's something about the way that he looks at you. I can't really articulate what it is, but it makes me so curious as a viewer, that it makes me never want to take for granted. He reminded me of being like a curious young man. And I remember when I was like, I was a real swishy kid, and so I couldn't hide anything. So it was like all the people that I had that I learned from, they were like twice my age, but now I'm in my 40s, and now it's sort of like I have friends who are younger or in their 20s, and I find myself, I can't really explain it, but it's sort of like I found myself like almost expounding. It's not necessarily wisdom, but I feel like I feel them listening to me or asking me about my experiences when I was young. It's a really inexplicable like exchange of things that I find fascinating as I get older.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree, and it does. The script does flip, because
Mm-hmm.
I was an old sage when I was born as well, uh, and I couldn't wait to be older. And now that I am,
Yeah.
it's so wonderful. It's
Oh my God.
so wonderful. I
Okay.
just tell people all the time. Now, mind you, if I looked like a piece of shit, I probably would be saying something else. But it really is so wonderful to get older
Yeah.
and to be around and to like yourself. It's and I didn't say love because you can love shoes, you can love a coat, but to like is to love yourself all the time, really.
Yeah.
That word, because everyone doesn't like everything, and so
Mm-hmm.
you know you can, oh yeah, I love him, oh I love that, oh I love it, that word gets tossed off. But to
Yeah.
like something means you really really are into it, And when
Yeah.
you like yourself, it's such a wonderful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can because I like being around myself, if that makes sense. It's sort of like
Hmm.
I can relax around myself. So I liking it, that's such a great thing to say. Liking yourself is different than loving yourself. It's I understand what you're saying. Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's semantics, but it's it's because of what people put behind what words are important. It's what
mm-hmm,
people put behind the word like.
mm,
Like is really loaded. And
yeah,
and if you I don't like him, I don't like her.
mm,
That's loaded.
yeah,
But when you say, I really like him, and then you really like yourself,
yeah,
that's super important.
I agree. Okay.
I mean,
Um,
I love my bags. I have so many Coach bags,
yeah,
and
I
I love them all.
I have like 12 pairs of glasses. I can get more. I love my glasses. So yeah. Um, something that I just wanted to tell you before I ask you a silly question before I let you go. There's something about I mean Arthur's style, of course, is very important to him. I feel like watching you makes me it's not necessarily an aspirational thing for me, but I don't know, there's something I admire very much how Arthur presents himself to the world. That's something that I could talk to you for maybe like 3 hours about, but I don't
Hmm.
know, watching you, whether you're at work with Jesse Tyler Ferguson, whether you're in a robe sitting there with Linda Lavin, there's something about it made me very conscious of like how I carry myself and how I present myself. I just wanted to say that, but I did
Well,
want to add.
it is our armor, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
So
totally.
and it acts in different ways all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I dress to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I dress to be seen,
Yeah.
and then of course, each of those looks is to say to the world, this is how I'm feeling about myself right now.
Yeah.
And so in turn, this is how I'm going to be treated. You know, so it's super important what armor we put on. I mean,
Yeah.
it just oh my god, and sometimes it's out of sheer protection. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I think, I mean, anytime I have a chance to talk to a costume designer, I always joke I have no style, but I love talking to costumers because it's
yeah.
just like it's so tied into a character's perspective in a very specific moment every day. Like if you feel like crap, but you don't want people to know you feel like crap, you might put on something that you love because it makes you feel good. So
Absolutely.
I find that so fascinating every single time.
A-
Um,
Absolutely.
So I guess one last question before I let you go. If Arthur could dress anybody now, um, like any celebrity, if he had his, pick of the litter, who do you think he would want to dress?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
Uh, you could probably give me 20 different answers.
Yeah, but I would stick with a group of people.
Okay.
I would say I would say that Arthur would stick with some anyone who was 45 and older because
Okay.
there's no reason to give up, right?
Okay.
So uh, Arthur is all about um, elegance, not
Yes.
glamour. See, those are
Mm-hmm.
two different things. You can be elegant in, a burlap sack.
Right.
Hey, you can be elegant in anything. So he's about elegance, which is who the person is. And then, of course, my motto is wear something that makes you feel good about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can get into cut and draping and tailor,
Sure.
all that sort of thing. But, and of course, wear something, this word gets a little iffy, that's appropriate. And what I mean by that is appropriate for the venue and you and who you are in it.
Hmm.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to put on a penguin suit, you know, a tuxedo with everyone else at this
Yeah.
gala. But what it does mean is that you're going to show up and be respectful of the event and
Mm.
then present yourself the way that you think is appropriate for the event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I would stick to people who are 45 and older and who want to be elegant. And so we can go. I mean, that's Meryl Streep, Diana Ross. We can go all over the place. We can go all over the
Mm.
place and throw in some lovely men there too, as well. You know?
Sure. Of course. Oh.
Yeah. But I would
Possibilities
stick.
are endless.
Yeah, I would stick to that.
Okay. That's even better. That's a better guideline than I could ever possibly ask for. Okay.
Yes.
Um, well, thank you so much for your time and being so generous with me. This is a show that I'm going to watch, over and over and over again, and it's such a joy to speak with you. So, thank you so much for your time.
Listen, this has been wonderful.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, Joey. I love that
You too.
fucking t-shirt. It's so
Yeah.
good.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link on Instagram.
Please send
I
me the
will.
link
I
because I
will.
will find you
Yes.
if you
All right.
haven't.
I will. All
All
right.
right.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.